Good afternoon, Bruin fans, and welcome to an off-season edition of Something Bruin here with Coach Cook and Rashad. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Rags. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, and like to mention here with it being Thursday before the big game here, there in the weight room, we have Sharon Stith's jersey with the Colts.
Yes,
Josh Baker's jersey with the Jets, and Dre Bly's jersey with the Lions.
correct.
But Dre played in two Super Bowls with the Rams, and there are three Bruin alums that played on Sundays.
Absolutely. The cool part about it is as they donated their jerseys to the locker room, my kids get to see it every day. When they come in, whether it's winter workouts, whether it's a regular season, they get to see what it looks like to be a one percenter, and obviously all three of those gentlemen have had a great career and are doing very well for themselves. So, we can't complain. It's a good weekend for some football.
Right, and the interesting thing is with Dre's jersey being a Lions jersey, he definitely had some good news here with the Lions with being a position coach come next year.
Absolutely. So again, you do it the right way, they take care of you. I think that's the message that, Dre would be able to share with our young man and a lot of people who saw, that transition take place. So I'm very happy for him and his family. It's a new opportunity. And I think ultimately a lot of coaches' goals would be to have an opportunity to coach at the National Football League level. So without a doubt, we're very happy as Bruin alum and, proud supporters of Dre Bly. But, most importantly, his new opportunity. Absolutely.
Yes, and I'd like to point out here real quick that I can't believe it's 7 years ago, but there during, Super Bowl 50, the NFL reached out to their players that appeared in a Super Bowl and to recognize their high school. So, Dre coming back, presenting that gold football there to Western Branch High School.
Absolutely. I was in Northern Virginia around that time and, saw it on the news and YouTube. And it was great seeing Coach Decker in the news clippings and Coach Jay and, all the guys, all the coaches, even I believe Coach Stanko was there that have been huge supporters of, Dre Bly and his opportunity to be able to travel through this journey called football in all platforms, youth, high school, college, and then pros. And of all things, his first year, he wins the Super Bowl, as a rookie, which is pretty cool. But absolutely, that's in the front office of our school. Everybody is proud of what Dre has been able to do, just like a lot of other 757 athletes that had an opportunity to get to the league. We also had Keith Burnell, who had a stint in the NFL. So, on Super Bowl Sunday, some of the other guys that, also kind of paved the way and had an opportunity. I'm sure it's a whole lot to name, but Keith last year donated his Raiders jersey to the locker room. So that's in the works of getting put up to be on the wall as well. So so many greats that came out of this school and had an opportunity to either compete in the NFL, sustain a career in the NFL, or at least be on a practice squad or roster throughout their tenure.
Yes, because there is, there on Sunday, you got Josh Sweat that's from Oscar Smith. They're playing for the Eagles. And, you bring up the practice squad. I mean, one of Coach Jay and Eric Black's player from when they coached at Nansemond Suffolk Academy. I mean, Cole Christensen, is part of the Chiefs, so here, even on Sunday, I know that there's some Old Dominion alums, but definitely some guys here, one from each team that played high school football here with somebody that we know or definitely right in our area.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it all when you talk about the geographics of where the hotbeds, where the who's who that comes out of this state or that state. It's great to see us, our Virginians, continue to be recognized and acknowledged for, the forefathers that paved the way, the Lawrence Taylors and all the other guys that really, made an impact.
Right. Yes. And hey, so with the successful season here that the varsity program had, I mean, you start off here with all region. Here we had Quizzy.
Hmm.
Here, Taekwon Trotman. Here gets second team quarterback. Shamik and Paul Billups here got first team. Running back and wide receiver, and
Hmm.
Paul got recognized here by the Chesapeake Sports Club as being the high school player of the year.
Absolutely. I mean, you win, obviously that helps, right? But what I love is these kids are winning off the field, and it shows. These guys are having opportunities to go to the next level. They put in the work that it takes. They've done the extra things that it takes, and these are the fruits of their labor, if that makes sense. So, without a doubt, Paul had a very good career here. What is awesome to see is a kid that came in as a freshman and finished 4 years at his respectful high school. So I commend him, for believing in us, believing in me, and wanting to see all his classmates, CJ Frazier and him are very close friends, compete. And eventually, obviously, we ended up getting a championship and in the conversation of a state semifinal finish. So without a doubt, there's a lot of great kids. Quizzy, well deserving. He's a guy that competes with quiet fire. He gets on the field, he gets the job done. He knows how to motivate his guys. But one thing I love about him that makes it so unique, he doesn't treat every player the same. He knows how to get another guy to go the extra step versus how to get another guy, a different player, to go an extra step. And that's unique in his role as a quarterback, and that's going to pay dividends in the future.
Right. Yes. And we had here second team offensive line there with Chappelle and Priester. And I know that we said it both last year and this this year here during the episodes. The offensive line to give the quarterback timing, to give the running back the holes. The offensive line is definitely, the guys up front. They don't get the headlines, but they definitely are the reason for, good rushing yards and a quarterback to have time to find their receivers.
Absolutely. Shamik Blizzard is not first team all region without those guys up front, without a doubt. And shout out to Shamik. He had a great year as well before we talk about the big fellas. But Shamik put together a great year. I think one game short with a forfeit versus Granby. He would have been well over 2,000 plus yards, 1884 on the season. But again, he averaged in at least 3 or 4 games over 200 plus yards per game. So, big shout out to the workhorse going to North Carolina A&T. Coach Brown, Vincent Brown from William & Mary, the D coordinator at William & Mary, is now taking the head coaching position at North Carolina A&T. And what a hire. I mean, a great person. I've had a chance to meet him personally and interact with him as a parent, as a coach. And without a doubt, North Carolina A&T got an awesome person and an awesome coach that's going to lead that program. And now I'm going to the big fellas, 6'5" and 6'7", Jaden Chappelle and Jazari Priester. Again, the whole O-line, Jaden Darden did a great job. Aiden Lorsong, our center, our quarterback of the O-line, did a phenomenal job. So by every great player, you got supporting cast. And they did a phenomenal job. Cam Warren, big fella playing guard, and him and Priester together, they were a tandem. So without a doubt, but happy for those two that were recognized. Aiden has another year returning, and he's poised to be an all-state player. He's attacked the all-season winter workouts, just like we want him to as a senior. But the thing about Aiden, he's been consistent the whole time. And just with Jazari, you lose a good locker room guy. He's a lead by example, not words. And Jaden Chappelle, you got a disciplined player that's listening to his coach, Coach Robbie Dunker, who's had a chance to work with him for 3 years. And he's going to Norfolk State for a reason. He can play at that level. He's got a high football IQ. And I, without a doubt, I know he's going to thrive in Norfolk State's program.
Yes, and then on the other side of the ball, Priester, and Phillips got recognized, but then also CJ got recognized their defense. And then second team, we had Brickhouse and Cook, and
Hmm.
then Parker and Applewhite here, honorable mention there to round out the all region recognition here for the Bruins.
Absolutely. And I'll start with the young guys. To me, that's high praise and an opportunity to carry that into the offseason and really attack it. Not having a sophomore slump, and with our coaches, the way they go about it, a lot of our kids have been able to transition to the next year and done it at a high level to where there's no drop off. But very happy with Parker and Applewhite. I know those guys aren't satisfied. They want to be recognized as all region players outright, first and second team. And I know they're going to put the work in. Cook, CJ Frazier, Brickhouse, Brickhouse and Cook, again, two hard workers. They really go out, they go at it. Devin has done a phenomenal job. He'll be a 4-year varsity starter going into the 2023 season. Brickhouse is a storied career. You come in not knowing where you're going to be, still work hard, still stay in the weight room, still compete, and then all of a sudden your number is called and now it's time to go. And he's done that for 2 straight years. He's done a great job, leading, but a great job of doing what's asked of him by Coach Black. And, that's all we can ask for. So all those young men are definitely deserving of the honor and accolades that they got. Cook was also in the conversation as a wide receiver for all region. Just got bumped out by 1 or 2 votes. But, without a doubt, all these guys are definitely recognized amongst our region 6A and, their efforts that they put in each week.
Yes, and so we talk about the players.
Oh, man, you didn't have to do that.
But then we also here have to talk about the recognition
Right.
here by the all region here with your recognition of being Coach of the Year.
Yep. And I know all the coaches looking is like, man, if Cook could really show how much he's blushing right now. That really, I'll take the title. I'll take the recognition. I know it's an unforgiving job, right? You win 1 year, you lose the next, and then, they forget about all the hard work that you put in. But yes, I was acknowledged by all the coaches outright. And, one thing I love is every time I get a trophy, I cut it up in quarters and divide it amongst my coaching staff, because without them, there's no me, and then our kids going out and competing on Friday nights, without their effort and changing the culture, there's no Coach of the Year. But, without a doubt, it feels good to really see as a coach that you are being recognized amongst your colleagues and your peers for that high praise. And, just very pleased. But what a year we had. We will always say it's not the way we wanted to end, but I heard it so much on the college ranks as well. In the playoffs, a lot of coaches said that same kind of quote, although we didn't get where we wanted to be, our kids, we can't discount the effort that our coaches, our kids, our community, and our support staff really poured into our football program.
Well, and you know what, Rashad? I mean, Elizabeth and I, being at the football banquet here,
Yes.
Right before the holiday break, I mean, when the seniors came to present, what they were giving there to the coaching staff, I mean, they looked right there at each one of y'all. They're sitting up on the stage at that table and not just thanked y'all for coaching them, but then also thanking you guys here for teaching them about doing well in the classroom, getting prepared to, yes, some are going to play at the next level, but get prepared to go to college, go in the workforce, so it's not all about wins or losses there when you're coaching. You're
Correct.
also teaching your kids, your players to, be ready for society.
Correct. Life skills, and oftentimes we will say that the generation that is kind of, growing into its own, that's going to be a lost art for some. Just the fact of being able to have an interaction without technology, or being able to sit down and have a conversation away from football. And that's one thing in the offseason I've worked on, is talking to our players individually during our winter workouts, and just talking about life, just talking about how their day is going, and creating a culture and creating an atmosphere that is not always, or it does not always have to be about football. You can come talk to me about anything. And if anything, we'll put the right support around you, or we'll figure out what we got to do at the next step. But, that's an awesome class. Remember, their second semester, that was their first time meeting me their freshman year.
Right.
And so for me, I call it 3.5, but we've been rocking and rolling since COVID. And to watch all those kids really speak, into existence what really happened and how we went about it, and the coaching staff, and that to me warmed my heart 100%. Just knowing that these young men now have another tool that they could put in their toolkit outside of the parents that have raised them and the community and so on and so forth, that they can apply or pay forward to someone else, a young athlete or a teammate at the next level or a colleague or something like that. So without a doubt, that was a special night. We call it a senior awards banquet for that reason. It's a culminating exclamation point of their career, along with all the other teammates that they shared it with.
Right. And then all state, Shamik, Billups, Frazier, Priester were all recognized. And then Austin
Absolutely
got recognized here for his play.
Absolutely. Again, when you talk about All-State, it really, really, to me, should come down to the Final Four finish. Your All-State teams that are competing, and to see all 5 of our guys kind of get in there, that was awesome. Just to see, and amongst the state, to see these young men stand out, first team or second team. Again, that's really showing West Branch High School and our coaching staff are doing a phenomenal job, along with our administration and support staff, of getting these kids in the right alignment on and off the field.
Yes, and Rashad, I know here during our off season and with kind of being, the anniversary of when you got the job here a couple years ago, I shared the video there of the auditorium. But, from when you took the job to now, here, the next picture, here we have, just players, coming from last year and this year's class here to play at the next level.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, 2020 class had some athletes, and I worked with them to try to get them recruited. But unfortunately, the coaches did not see it yet, if that makes sense. And 21, the Eron Edmonds and the Buntings and, Joseph Froese, all those guys, they had talent. But again, the schools didn't quite see it. So all of a sudden, those two years kind of paved the way. And then our 22 class really had a phenomenal year that started making more schools knock on the door. So again, I'm not saying that arrogantly, but, just as a coach, sometimes we could get frustrated because we know that the kids have the ability to play at the next level, but sometimes the recruiters or the scouts don't see it that way. So it's not always on the kid or the lack of talent of the kid. But without a doubt, last year, the 22 class, I believe, had 7, and we just got 6 this last year combined so far. And we still got at least 3 more kids that are still looking at, Division II, Division III, one FCS schools, 1AA, that may end up landing opportunities as well. So we're just kind of patient. I don't want to quite put it out there until they're done with their full recruitment. But without a doubt, in 2 years, 13, going to school, and I can tell you now, 95% are on full scholarships. 95%. The other percent may be a partial, not a partial, but it may be an offset here or there. But other than that, most of our kids are definitely full rides. This class, Paul Billups, all these guys have landed full scholarship opportunities. So we're definitely happy for them, and understanding that takes a lot of weight off of the parents, that are trying to figure out possibly what does it look like as my child moves forward in their academic and or athletic future endeavors. So we're pleased.
Yes, and I know that we mentioned something here of a few Western Branch Bruins here going to the Shenandoah Valley here and
Yes.
playing for Shenandoah, but also here with Shamik going to A&T,
Mhm.
Priester going to Hampton, and Cook already at William and Mary. I mean, we're going to be having some Bruin representation there in the CAA.
Yep, yep. I want to do my Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend. You forgot about CJ Frazier. He's at
That's right.
Richmond.
That's right, Richmond. That's right.
So,
Sorry
I
about
mean,
that, CJ.
pick your weekend, right? Where you going? Pick your weekend. But yeah, it's awesome. And again, go where you want it, not tolerate it, right? Go where you can thrive and not look 2 or 3 years down the road and say, okay, I'm looking to transfer now. I just want to play football. And it's a lot of college athletes that do that. After they get to that school of their choice or the school that they thought was a great fit and maybe not so quite the career that they felt they would have, now they're going to look to just play college football. They'll go down a school, or with the transfer portal, they'll go over laterally to a school, or so on and so forth. But, those guys in the CAA, I'm telling you, week in and week out, it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch them grow. I know U of R is very excited about getting CJ. Obviously, Shamik is the next thing, God willing, to really be an impact at North Carolina A&T when his time comes. Desmond is poised for his spring ball coming up, and you got two. Well, I was going to say two of them, but you got Jazari that'll be transitioning to Hampton University. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun tracking those guys. Paul has been at UNC since mid-year. He's been a mid-year. I believe he's coming home this week or this weekend. I'm not sure, but without a doubt, we check in on him. Our whole staff have been reaching out. I got a text from Mossy during the holiday break or right after. He comes checking in on you. Hope all is well. So we're all doing our due diligence of reaching out. I've reached out to Caleb Broadbent, and he's hit me back to really just build that extension beyond high school football and still assuring them that you still have someone that you could talk to, because most of us, if not all of our coaching staff, have been there. And we know some nights it get lonely, some days it gets confusing or chaotic, and some days, are great. So, again, we're just excited about all these young men and their opportunities.
Right. Yes. And so we're in the middle of winter workouts right now. And then what else is on the slate here for off-season Bruin football?
All right, so February 24th, we have confirmed that we'll go to West Branch Middle. But this year, we're going to do it a little different. All right, this year, Coach Thomas and I, we've always gone the last 2 or 3 years. This year, we're bringing a freshman and a senior that's graduating. So our kids, our guys, we're going to go recruit, get to hear from a guy that just left that school and what it looks like and how the transition is of high school, being a student athlete at the high school level, so on and so forth. They're still going to hear from Coach Thomas and I, but we're also bringing a peer that they could connect with, and maybe one that they've heard of or they watched throughout their career, come and speak back to those guys about the A to Z approach and what does it look like on the back end as a senior, and obviously coming into West Branch. So we're going to do that for Jolliffe as well as West Branch Middle, but West Branch Middle is confirmed on February 24th. We're still working on getting a confirmation date for Jolliffe Middle School. Coming out of that, we will have our Rising Bruin visit. That's for both of our feeder schools only to come up to Western Branch. This will be our second annual Rising Bruin visit. We did it last April. So we'll be doing that in April, where the parents and players can come and just kind of see what Western Branch High School looks like and how it looks in our football program. So that I'm excited about, again, year 2. The Marshalls did a phenomenal job last year, ushering parents and student athletes by pods around the school, around the facility. We also gave an introduction of our academics and what it looks like, how it looks like. So it really sets up what happens in May. This year, we're almost working on closing that day out. But May, maybe the second week in May, we're having our recruiting symposium. And that is educating the parent, the rising freshman parent, all the way up to the rising senior parent on where their child is in a recruitment process, in the academic component, in the NCAA clearinghouse eyes, educating them on where the SAT is no longer a requirement, for many universities across the country. So it's really educating the parent and the student athlete on, how their landscape looks each year. So if our freshman class will now be transitioning to the sophomore guidance counselor that's going to talk about where they should be. Did they fill out the FAFSA? Do they have the correct classes for, being on track to go to college and compete at that level? Even if they don't want to go, we have a standard diploma and I forgot the other one, it just slipped my mind. But basically there are two types of diplomas that kids can go for. But even if they don't want to pursue high school, it can definitely, advanced diploma is the other one. It can definitely set them up on a track of a trade or academics, if they just want to go as a student to a university or a college. So it's a lot. And then in the first week or right after Memorial Day, we're doing our Bruin football camp, our second annual. So we're excited about that, getting future Bruins or any kid in our community and surrounding community. They just want to come to a 4-day camp. Great teaching. Our alumni football players that are in college are invited back to speak to our young kids. So again, keeping goals in front of our kids is our goal. The more they see college athletes, if that's an aspiration, we're going to continue to put those young men in front of them. It's open to any gender, and our seniors that are graduating are the camp counselors this year. So last year, as juniors, they had a chance to watch Mike Bowen and Desmond and Tucker and all those guys move around with them. So this year is their turn, to be that leader of a position group and continue to inspire and encourage young men and possibly young ladies to, continue to grow the sport. Right. So it's a lot. I threw a lot at you, but
that's great. I mean, yes. With this platform and as soon as June rolls around, we'll be ready to start previewing season 3 of Something Bruin.
Absolutely. Obviously in June is winter workouts. That's when really June is the new August. July is really the new August. June is just kind of getting your feet wet. But when you get into July, a lot of football in today's time, the installation and just getting things prepped for that trial process, a lot of it is done in July, even though we still honor the three-day trial process. But, we're excited. I've shared with a lot of coaches, we're young again, but we're seasoned young. And with that being said, we graduated 18 seniors, but we returned 41 from that playoff roster that traveled up and down I-64 and I-95. So, without a doubt, those guys got a lot of good experience and saw a lot of good football. Most of those young men dressed throughout the entire season just to get that kind of awe off of them of varsity football. You still can't control the anxiety or what it may be, their first day actually being a varsity player. And whether it's a scrimmage or a game, you're still going to have those emotions and that, type of energy. But at least the whole learning how to be a varsity football player, they kind of picked that up their freshman year. So it's worked so far for us. And, just kind of pleased where we are.
Yeah, well, hey, Rashad, I certainly appreciate your time, and everybody that's out there listening. We gotta, even though that this is an off-season episode, we gotta continue the tradition of Thursday late afternoon to hold the episode.
Absolutely. We tried it every other way, right, Mark? And it didn't work. So Thursdays are our sweet spot, man. But without a doubt, just Bruin Nation, thank you guys. I'm very happy for our young men. Our guys are working hard. One thing that I'm so excited about, I left out, a lot of our kids are competing in different sports. So now the multi-sport athlete is coming back, and not the kids specializing in one sport. And then on the back end of their career, they now look back and say, wow, I could have ran track, I could have wrestled, I could have played, basketball, I could have swam. So, we're excited about that. Spring sports are coming around at the end of February, so it'll be a dead period for us. But I'm encouraging guys to get back out there and run track again. It's not that I don't want to develop them, but as long as they're competing, they're going to make us better in the fall. So I'm definitely excited about that we're starting to recreate multi-sport athletes. We're partnering as a school, as coaches, recycling athletes. Send them to me, I send them back better, or vice versa. So, what a difference this has made for all of our programs, and I'm extremely excited about that.
Yes. Well, hey, Rashad, before we close out, who do you like on Sunday?
Oh, man. If I got to be honest, and I know my wife would be fist pumping, I like the Eagles, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I believe the margin of victory will be less than 3 points. I will not less. It'll be around less than 6 points. We'll put it like that. So it'll be less than 6, maybe a field goal victory. It all depends. But it's Super Bowl, right? It may be a blowout or it may be a 3-3 dogfight. Who knows? But I think both teams are definitely deserving to get there. Black History Month is the first time, I believe, in NFL history that 2 black quarterbacks will be competing against each other. So, without a doubt, there's always history being made. I believe one time it was Marvin Lewis and Lovie Smith. I don't know if I got the right guys, but they made history. And forgive me if I'm wrong with that stat as head coaches going head to head. But, without a doubt, I think the Eagles have the team. They've been there and with only 1 Super Bowl, and I'm actually throwing a shot at them, being a Commanders fan, but with only 1 Super Bowl, I think, they're going to want it even more to go ahead and get that second one. What about you?
Yeah. Yes, you know what? I think it's going to be a good game, but I think it's going to be 28-24, and I'll go with Fly Eagles Fly.
Ooh. Hey, I tell you what, one thing, you're very close when you hit those numbers. I believe in you. But yeah, I think the Eagles have it. I really do. But good to see you, man. Good to see you. I think one more maybe in April or May would be great if you'll have me on. But it's good to see where our kids are, and we still got some more kids that are going to sign and commit. Well, not commit, but sign to schools. And, that's the beauty about National Signing Day. It's not over. For a lot of people, you think after February 1 it's over, but the NCAA extends it all the way to about April or May, and then they close that window for Division I, and Division II may go a little deeper. Yep. But, we're excited.
Yeah, and, you bring up Black History Month, and, there to kick off Black History Month last Wednesday, seeing 3 of our Bruin soon-to-be alums, make commitments there to HBCUs.
Correct. And that was awesome. The note you put out on Facebook, we appreciate it. I appreciate it. But, as a former HBCU player myself, it's kind of neat. It's never happened. I asked Coach Jay, we met the day after. I said, has that ever happened at Western Branch? He said, absolutely not. Not that he knows of. But in most cases, I think that is the first time in school history. It's not the first HBCU players to go from West Branch High School. Obviously, I'm a representation, and there's many more that played before us. Chris Johnson, I believe he came out in '96 and went to Morgan State. So without a doubt, it's great to see. But, it's just history, and it happens organically, right? Now, we have a total of 4 going with Shamik being added. So without a doubt, we're excited. But college is college. Experiences will be different at every university and every level. But at the end of the day, the ultimate end game is education, bettering your future while using your athletic and God-given ability.
Yes. Well, hey, Rashad, appreciate your time. And fans, don't worry, Coach Cook and I will meet back up April or May, and then we'll be ready here to kick off 3rd season, come August. But definitely appreciate your time, Rashad, and go Bruins.
Absolutely. Go Bruins.
All right.